So
Haven't you used what?
the outline, remember? We made one.
Made what? Sorry, I didn't hear
An
that.
outline.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, welcome
I'm g-
everybody to episode 4 of Amateur Theory. Today we're going to be talking about the Scientology masterpiece, Battlefield Earth, directed by John Travolta.
Or he didn't direct it. He just starred in it. Or
Oh,
he
really?
helped get
For
it
some
made.
reason,
But
okay. Who was the
the
director?
a man
Is he anyone
named
I've heard of?
Roger Christian, who's I think did some like work on like maybe a Star Wars film or so, like not as a director, but just as I don't know what he did. He certainly wasn't the director because this man does not know how to direct a movie. Um,
But
okay,
okay.
I guess some quick background info. Battlefield Earth, based on this science fiction novel by L. Ron Hubbard, who is of course known for founding the Church of Scientology. And I guess L. Ron Hubbard kind of always had like a wish to see like a Hollywood version of this film get made. Um, but then he like passed away in the mid '80s or so, and I think like Travolta like kind of picked up the project and like wanted to see it get made, so it was kind of like a passion type project for him.
Mm.
Uh, and boy, oh boy, the results are.
This almost made me wanted to read the book just to see if the source material is as bad as this movie makes it out to be. I mean, I hope that's not too like controversial. I don't know, because there is some interesting ideas here. Like actually, there's the premise of the movie is not terrible. It's just the execution is just bad on almost every level. Like it's so
This
I guess the
is
first question.
this is a failure of epic proportions.
The question I would have to you is that does this qualify as like so bad it's good or just bad?
For
Like what do
me,
you think?
it's a so bad it's good. I think this movie gets like pretty hilarious at parts. I think.
I would agree. As far as so bad it's good movies, this one more so than others, like even more than like The Room. There was points where I was literally like cringing at like how terrible the dialogue was. And I mean, I'm talking about The Room, where like that didn't even do it to me to the same level this movie did. But I mean, I'll definitely like I was never bored. The entire movie, like I definitely was like paying attention and like seeing what was going on because I had to know what was happening next of this like train wreck of a movie. So I would agree. I would agree. I think it's so bad it's good.
Oh, totally. So I guess the basic plot involves it's what the year 3000 now. Man is an endangered species,
That's
as
right.
the opening text tells us. A group of aliens called Cyclos now run the planet, and they kind of use humans as slave labor for mining purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I
Mine
don't know what
gold.
they're mining for. Yeah, I don't know why they're trying to mine for gold, but
All right, whatever.
yeah. Anyway, the head of was it security? Is that John
Yeah,
Travolta?
yeah.
He he's trying to develop a scam where he wants to get humans to mine gold for him so he can take this gold
Right,
and
because there's a theory that humans are like they basically view humans as animals, right? As like
yeah.
not capable of doing something as complicated as mining, which was really weird to me for a number of reasons. But let's, I guess, continue with the synopsis.
Anyway, yeah, John Travolta's character is, I guess, kind of stuck on Earth. Like he's been
Yeah,
renewed
he doesn't
for
want to be there.
50
Yeah,
more cycles. with
I
endless
love how
options for renewal.
all the aliens are just like, I guess it's just part of their alien DNA. They're all like terrible, like all of them. There was like not one moment where like an alien made a deal and like kept his side of the promise. Like they were all just trying to backstab each other the entire time. Like every chance they could. They're just like, it's like, honestly, like he's a villain that is truly evil to be evil. Like he won't have a reason to be bad, but he'll just do bad things because he and then he'll do like the evil laugh.
Oh yes,
Like
like
him and his sidekick. Who's the actor that plays him?
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, so like honestly, I was getting major Pinky and the Brain vibes from those two.
Oh,
Like,
totally. No, they're like mustache twirling Saturday morning cartoons, except even
and
more
the dumb
stupid.
sidekick. Yeah. And it's totally that like cartoon thing where like the evil genius talks about how smart he is, but like the audience can tell that he's just like a moron. Like he's just as dumb as anyone else, but like he talks more flowery. I don't know if you were supposed to think that the alien was dumb. Like I don't know if that was intentional from the director, but
The
like
way the
some
movies made, like it seems like they're just trying to play it straight. It's really
yeah.
weird because
But okay, we're with the plot. And so the main plot centers around a human who is captured. Like he's like one of the remaining last free humans, but then he gets captured by the aliens to be slave labor. But the point of the movie is this particular human is just very bright. He's a very smart guy, and so he is able to. And I guess we'll say spoilers now.
yeah.
This is spoilers. He is basically able to free humanity from the grip of these aliens through his smart, his intelligence, and the help of this super smart machine.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, the best way to do this, I think, is to just like talk about the actions that like John Travolta's character does. So, like early on in the movie, he wants to train humans so that they can like mine gold for him.
Yeah.
And he figures that he wants to find out what humans' favorite food is.
Right.
I guess to use it as a treat. So his idea is to get some humans, just release them for a little while so that so that they think they're free, and then they'll just go out and find their favorite food.
Not so. This is what's so bizarre to me. The entire movie. So we suppose this alien race, right? They have all this advanced technology, like super advanced, and they even tell us at the beginning, or not at the beginning. At some point in the movie, it's revealed that when the aliens came down to fight the humans in like this international war or intergalactic war, they beat us in 9 minutes. They beat the entire humanity's army in 9 minutes. So they build them up to be the like super menacing, super intelligent, monsters. But then when you get to know any of them, they're all just so dumb and like know nothing. They simultaneously know everything about humanity and then know literally nothing.
Yeah.
Like there's a point where like the alien comes and like reveals to the main character about human civilization. He's like, this contains all recorded human knowledge, and it was like this moment where like, oh wow, he like revealed all of human knowledge to this guy, to humanity who had lost it before, but at the same time didn't know that like that humans have thoughts, right? He like thinks they're animals and can't mine, yet he like knows they've built these like giant buildings. Like that just doesn't click.
Yeah.
That like maybe I don't even understand that. And then also, that like so they have all this like chattel slavery for humans, right? So they're feeding them regularly, but then they have to like do this plan to figure. And then it's funny, like it's immediately obvious for the audience watching that the first thing that humans eat is rats, right? And it's
that's
not
all they can find.
Human food, right? It's the only thing that's around, and so they're just like, there's even one of the humans like looks at the rat and is like, ugh, He's like, okay, I guess I'll eat it. And the alien still
They go
is like,
that's their favorite
that's
food.
the favorite food. Like, it's so dumb. Okay, but that was the first.
No, well, the best thing is because they're watching him, they go like, "Oh, that's their favorite food, rats." But the main human character, I guess, realizes that like they have cameras on their clothes, and so he like,
which how he knows that is there's never explained. Like to this, like as we've set up the human characters as of this point, they've like lost all technology, right? So literally, he just saw a button that looked like a button, like it looked a little bit different than the other buttons on his jacket, but he just saw a button and like just like knew like this is a bad button. We're gonna take it. Like it was. There's no reason why he would possibly know that it was like what a camera is or anything. He just gets a feeling. But this is supposed to like anyway. I'm being nitpicky, but he figures out.
It's really weird, but so figures out they're wearing buttons and like cuts them off, and then John Travolta's character like freaks out, stands up, and hits his head on the ceiling. He literally even says like, "Crap, lousy ceiling." And
but just keep in mind, this is not a comedy. None of this is comedic.
The people making this film, they had to have seen that and been like, "Is like." I'm like speechless, like shocked. Like I just don't understand how things were put together like this.
But then, so they do catch up with the humans and they kind of recapture them, or do they let themselves get captured? That's later. That's later. The humans let themselves get recaptured. Then the first time they just get captured, and so the alien tries to bribe him with the rat. Right, but it's not really working. So then his next brilliant plan is to hook up the guy to this machine that I think you're supposed to. I think the way it's set up, it's supposed to be a knowledge machine. So it's not supposed to make you smarter. It's supposed to just give you knowledge. But in effect, compared, like if you look at the human character pre-machine and post-machine. Like, it is way more than just, like, figuring stuff out. His, like, entire demeanor changes. Like, everything. Like, the way... We haven't really talked about this, but the way they portray people at the beginning is like animals. Like, these people are, like... Like, they're, like, walking along, like with their limbs, and they're, like...
They do make monkey sounds. They go...
Yeah, all the time. Right.
They do that,
and
but
so,
then they also talk just using normal English. So it's a very weird combination.
But so like they act totally, and then like you know, it's they're not able to put up any kind of defense against the aliens because they're all just like disorganized and they don't, you know, it's whatever. And so as soon as he gets this knowledge ray, which is really funny. They do this knowledge ray, and all they're trying to do is to tell him how to mine gold, right? Like how to hit a pickaxe on the ground. Like that's all they need him to know. But they're like giving him information about like calculus and like all this stuff.
Yeah, and like molecular biology.
Right.
Just the literal like knowledge beam like going into his eye, just teaching him like everything.
Yeah, everything in the universe. Yeah. And so like they do that, and then like they do it for a little while, and they ask him a question, and he's just like looks at him like, oh, like he's like all, and they're like, oh, I guess it didn't work. Let's just do it longer, and they just leave it on for like a really long time. They actually leave him, like none of the aliens are around.
They leave him alone.
They leave him alone with his knowledge machine. And some like guy is like, what are you feeling? He's like, no, this is actually good. We need to learn all the knowledge we can. And then he just goes up, turns on the knowledge machine again, and just gets more of this knowledge. So after the knowledge machine, he's basically like just this boy genius. Like he just knows. It's a really bizarre combination because the rest of the movie is him supposed to be like intelligence gathering. Like we need to learn more about the aliens. Yet he knows everything, but like not about the. I mean, I don't know.
It is so nonsensical. Like
yeah. But like his entire, so like I was saying, his entire personality changes. Like he goes from like this like wild monkey boy to like this like person with decorum and is like, oh, obviously we must use the molecular. Like, let me teach you about science, and like his entire everything changes, which I mean,
But at the
then,
same time, like he's still kind of dumb in a way, because there's that one scene where they're in the like machine, like flying it, I think, just like going across the US, and they're wondering like they're using a map of the states, and they're wondering if they've gone too far. It's like, well, look, there's lines, like the state borders. It was like, I didn't see any lines though while we were flying. And it's like, I guess they must have just faded over the years. The border lines of the states.
Yeah, it seems like this movie tries to have it every which way, where like the aliens are super smart, but they're like really dumb, and this human is like super smart, but he's really dumb. Really, whatever they need to just use the plot. Like it's just like this constant Deus Machina they can pull out whenever they want. Like, of course he knows how to build this complex machine that can do this or that, and like, of course he can do this, but of course he doesn't realize this super obvious thing. Like it's just it's constant. It's like the common thread throughout the film. But I just want to just make a thing. Like I just want to note that the idea of an intelligent species coming down and like thinking they were more intelligent than people because they've been around longer, but then people are actually smart and can outwit them. I think that's an interesting one. Like it's something that you could flesh out to be good. I feel like, but just the way that it was done. One thing I really didn't like was that like this knowledge machine was like the big difference. Like there was such this marked difference. Like it was no like character development or like showing, because to me it's like what's being celebrated. What you're supposed to celebrate is human intelligence. Like this movie is kind of like an ode. I mean, I don't know enough about Scientology, but I feel like my understanding of Scientology is that like you like get levels and you get more knowledge to become like more pure or something. You get like there's something about that, like levels of knowledge, and then you become like a better person through gaining this knowledge. It's kind of like how the church is set up. So I think this is like an allegory. Actually, I don't know if this was written before or after he wrote Dianetics.
I think it was afterwards.
Okay, well, there's some parallels there. That like I think that there's something about like, you know, if humans just had the knowledge, then we could like do all these great things. But like it kind of cheapens it to me that like the reason the humans were able to succeed was not because we're so smart. It's because the aliens built this like super knowledge machine that gave you all the knowledge in the universe in like 20 seconds. Like that's what did it. And I mean, maybe it says something that the aliens have this technology and still manage to just be super thick. So like we haven't even talked about the Whitaker's character, but he is
the bumbling
like,
sidekick,
so brain dead. Like he is just such an idiot, and it's alluded to that a lot of the aliens are idiots. Like there's like some smart aliens, and then there's just vast amounts of just really stupid ones. And so I guess that like I mean, presumably, we never saw any of the aliens use the brain machine the way that the human did, but like presumably they have access. If they're willing to give it to this guy and like not even worry about it, presumably all the aliens have access to this super knowledge machine, and it just like doesn't work, or like I don't know exactly all the intricacies of that, but anyway, it just felt cheap that like it was because of this super alien knowledge machine that like people were able to figure out. This one guy was able to figure out basically how to. The ending is he blows up the bad guy planet. So so the aliens beat all of humanity with all its knowledge and all its technology in 9 minutes. In 9 minutes, but this one guy, this monkey boy, who got this super machine, was able to, with like no resources, he was able to just pull it all out of his ass, like at the last minute, is he able to blow up their planet, and it's just
To be fair,
Like,
he did have access to some resources. Like they did find like the bombs and like the flight simulators to help them learn. So I mean,
I mean, yeah. But like
just to be
like
somewhat fair, I mean it's still like dumb bullshit, but
oh man, I like just from I appreciated the movie because it was silly and like I could kind of poke fun at it, but like just like if I was trying to take this movie seriously, that would be a major complaint I had. That like that looked like there was at no point where I felt like the human succeeded on his own merits. Like everything that he was able to do came from this knowledge machine. He just also had this knowledge of like, oh, we need to go to Fort Knox to find some gold so that we can fool the aliens into thinking we're mining when we're actually not. Like that doesn't take any kind of like intelligence. Just has to know that there's a bunch of gold in Fort Knox. Like that's the end all be all of that. So like it plays off as he's super smart, but really it's like not that smart if you have all this. I don't know.
you have
like,
a super machine shoot knowledge into your eyeball.
Yeah, like to me, like the moral of the story is that super machines are awesome. Super knowledge machines are like a good idea. We should do that as soon as we can. Like that was like the only, and like I could see it was trying to push this idea that like people are really smart and we can, but like I think all of that fell flat, personally for me. Like it really did not.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this movie does not succeed at anything. I want
Should
to
we talk about the
about
special effects?
direction. Yes, I want to
Actually,
talk about the direction a little bit. Okay, so Dutch angles.
how ray guns started out at the beginning, and then they all just disappeared for regular guns like 20 minutes in. At the beginning, they're using ray guns, and then you never see a ray gun again. It's just all the guns become regular guns. That just was funny to me. Anyway, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
Okay, so the way this movie is filmed on constant Dutch angles, where the
It's
director
like from
just
below.
or just slanted, like you slant the camera like this.
Oh, okay. So
And
it's
the
dramatic.
You're supposed to use them sparingly and with reason. Or I guess you don't have to use them sparingly, but you should actually know what you're doing with them. And the director obviously doesn't, because
You should use them if you're trying to make a dramatic angle shot. Use them for dramatic moments, not just like mundane get through the story moments, or like it's all. I mean,
well, they
I know
create a
what you mean.
sense of disorientation. And so if you're constantly using them, like when there's like just mundane things going on, it's you get like a really bizarre like feeling. It's
Yeah.
and just like the way the film's like edited, like all this like slow motion, and the slow motion looks bad because they filmed what seems like at a frame rate that doesn't look like it could be slowed down smoothly. Like the picture like stutters when they slow it down, and then like there's all this editing back and forth, and when like someone falls down, they fall down for like 5 seconds because just an excruciating detail, just like oh.
Yeah, they make every moment they try to like get as much drama out of it as they possibly can. Like
Yeah, it's like the director was going like, "Oh, this is all like poetry. Like we have to really savor every sense of it." And it's like, "No, you're screwing it up, man. Like, there's nothing going on right now."
Oh
Like,
yeah.
there's this one scene where like a building or like a structure or tower like collapses, like part of it falls over, and I swear this goes on for a minute, like all this rubble, which it doesn't look like there could be that much rubble to begin with, but it's just constantly like raining down, and everyone's like, "Ah!" And it just goes on and on. And it's like, yes, we get it. The building fell down. Very good.
Yeah. And like all their action scenes are like the stereotype of what a bad action scene is. Like the camera's like moving around crazy and like you can't really tell what's going on and everything's just like ugh. Like the fight he got in with that guy, the other prisoner. Like that was a mess. And then also that the first fight scene where like they're running away from the guy shooting, like that was such a like poorly shot. I mean, like I guess they're trying to make it exciting, but like this is just like, one on one, how to not do a fight scene. Like, don't do this. Don't like make it like just like bizarre angles and like slow motion at weird times and just dramatic. Like it just doesn't need to be that. It doesn't make it look cool. It just makes it like weird. And again, like when you watch it the way that we did, where you're just trying to poke fun. Like in that case, maybe they get a special exception that is so ridiculous that like it worked. But like if you're trying to make a real like a serious drama fight scene, like don't do this. Just don't. It's not good.
Oh, this film is a masterclass on just how to not do movies. like everything here like fails. Like I don't think there's really almost like a single aspect of this movie that succeeds in like the intentioned way. Like I mean, it is hilarious. I don't think they were trying to make something so incompetently hilarious though.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I can give this movie any props on like something it did well.
No, dude, even like the text at the beginning of the movie, like the font, it's like it's like some Microsoft Word crap, and not even like fancy Microsoft Word font. Just like it might as well be Comic Sans. Like, it didn't look like any thought was put into it.
And all the aliens look so dumb. Like whoever, like
they had these like weird, like elongated foreheads.
Yeah, with long foreheads. They have like this thing on their noses where it's just string. Like someone just took yarn and just tied it on their nose, and then it just drops. I don't know if that's supposed to be like an alien fashion, or if that's
it's as a breath thing, because I think the Earth's atmosphere is actually toxic for them.
The yarn was I remember him giving like a mask. That's what that is.
Okay, so
okay,
normal Earth atmosphere is toxic for the cyclos, but then they like have those like facilities or shelters where they like live and work, where they've like changed the atmosphere to like their regular thing, so they don't have to wear it inside there. But then that's poisonous for the humans, so the humans have to wear masks when they're in the cyclo facilities or whatever.
Well, okay, I won't begrudge them for the yarn on their nose, but like their gloves also, like they wore like these monster gloves that like must have come from like a Halloween store. Like that's how like comically it looked to me. They have like these like paws, like these like claw things. It just looks so bad. There was the one moment where he was like showing off this like woman alien, and she like does like this tongue thing. And it's supposed to be. It was such a weird moment that I was like,
it's just like elongated tongue and like licks him a little bit. It's very
yeah.
Like I felt gross, man. I felt grossed out. I was like,
and maybe that's the intention. Maybe they want you to feel gross, but it was like a cheap way to do it. So much of this movie felt like cheap, and like the sense that like they're like if they're like we're trying to get this thing across. Right, like we're trying to get across like emotion, we're trying to get across tension, we're trying to create, and they just do it like in the most, like the worst way. That like, if we want you to not like these aliens, how are we gonna do it? Let's make them jerks, like literally just like comically jerks.
Yeah, they are mustache twirling villains. Like
yeah, like when they talk to each other, the amount of backstabbing that happens between these aliens is unbelievable. It like makes you wonder why they even bother to like pretend to have deals. Like so first the main villain betrays like this bartender, right? So I guess the bartender like helped him out, and in exchange the guy was supposed to like not reveal this information that would get the bartender in trouble. But then at the end he's like, but guess what? Like I am gonna tell the girl. Like it was like this like whole thing, and the guy's like, why would you do that? And he's like, and then there was no reason, like, haha, I got you. I got one over you because I'm going to betray this friendship. Like, ha, ha, ha. And so that happens. Then he goes, he does that because he thinks he's going to leave. Like, he's going to leave this planet. Like, he's finally going to get that promotion he wanted. But then he goes, and then the guy, instead of giving him a promotion, says, "We're actually not going to give you a promotion. Ha ha! I got one over you." Like that's literally like every single conversation when the aliens talk to each other is that. Every single one. Like, you promised this, but actually no. Like that's all of them. Like that's their entirety of every conversation. It's it, and like you just wonder like how does that? I was thinking too much about it, definitely. But I was like, how does like a civilization like that work? Like if no one can trust anybody and they're always just trying to like one up, like how did they get anything done ever? This seems like so bad for. Anyway, like so how do we make you not like the aliens? Let's make them comically like just bad people, right? They're all backstabbers. They all are like very prideful. Like they have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. And then also let's just make them look gross, right? Let's make these gross looking people that are bad guys, right? So that you hate them. And it's like
yeah, no nuance or subtlety like whatsoever.
Right. Like the fact they're enslaving humans wasn't enough. You can't just have aliens that are just enslaving people, and that could be like that's a pretty good. And I mean, obviously that's part of it. But like, did you need to make them these like ridiculous caricatures of a bad guy to like get? I mean, I don't know. It was it's something.
It is like I mean, and I do recommend watching this movie because it is just so shockingly like inept. Like it's a car. It's watching like a car crash, except the car crash is somehow funny.
You know what it actually did remind me of? We already kind of talked about the, cartoon villain. Like this reminded me of a cartoon. Like this reminded me of like the kind of thing that would be made for like 8-year-olds. Like that's the kind of like
it's like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, and it's just stretched out into a movie that takes itself seriously for adults, apparently. Like that's literally what the movie is. Like I just got really heavy vibes of like whoever wrote this, like I'm talking like He-Man like level of like character development. Like, that's kind of where it's at. But I mean, yeah, like if that.
Did they make toys for this movie? I wonder. Is there like a John Travolta Cyclo action figure
I kind of hope they
out
did.
there, like a Goodwill?
No, but like other movies like The Room or like Plan 9 from Outer Space, it's an easy recommendation to people because it's like this movie is like so bizarrely weird and like there's like it's interesting like how like this is a harder like I don't know if I would just recommend this to anybody because the way it's bad, even though it is funny, it's like not nearly as interesting funny as those movies are. Like The Room, like there's nothing like The Room, right? Like The Room, like no one talks like that. Like, oh hi Mark, like it's just so like bizarre and out there, like you have to see it. This movie, again, if you've watched like a show like He-Man, or you've watched like I don't know, like Yu-Gi-Oh, or like any like Saturday morning cartoon for kids, you kind of already know what you're getting into here. Like there's nothing like so out there and like so strange to make it like really interesting, like something like The Room is. It's just bad, and it's like it's funny that it's bad, but it's not something I would say like you have to see this movie. Like I wouldn't give that recommendation. Like I would The Room. I would recommend The Room to anybody. Watch The Room. The Room is incredible. It's like a cinematic masterpiece of, but like because it's so bad. It's so bad it's good. But it's like something that you have to watch. This I just wouldn't say it's that. If you're like, want to take a couple drinks, laugh at a bad movie, okay, like give this a watch. Give this a watch. It's fine. But I messaged you while I was watching this saying like because we watched Plan 9 last week. I said somehow this movie is worse than Plan 9, and I was trying to think of why. Like I knew just viscerally from watching it that I felt like it was worse. Like I was trying to like put it into words. Like why do I think this movie is worse? Because Plan 9 has so much problems, so many problems with that movie.
Yeah. Well, last week I said Plan 9, I think I described it as charming. Plan 9 is like a
Yeah.
very like charming film. This no.
I came out like disliking everyone in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I just like the humans. I just like the aliens. I like wanted them all to fail. It was no one I was rooting for. Um,
I
but
mean just yeah, the terrible filmmaking I could see like getting like exhausting for some people, but I mean
I still enjoyed myself. Like I said, there was not a single moment in this movie where I was bored.
oh,
Like
I
I
had a
was,
blast watching this movie.
yeah, I was like having rapt attention, and like actually, like funny enough, if the point was to get me to think, right, like to think about the things, it actually succeeded in a way, because I was just by trying to make sense of what was going on. I was like, I already told you I was overthinking it in terms of like how did this, and like it actually did get me thinking about like what does it mean to be intelligent versus just having knowledge and like all this stuff, all these themes it brought up. It actually did get me to think of them, but mostly just thinking of them in terms of how this movie failed to convey those ideas. Um, so it kind of succeeded. Like I mean, like so. I mean, there's that. I suppose. Like I said, I think the premise was interesting. I think taking these themes, you could make a good movie out of them. Like the general plot, you didn't set yourself up to fail. So like, I don't want to talk about Plan 9 too much because that's not what this episode is. But in Plan 9, like, there's almost no way to make that plot make sense, right? Like aliens raising the dead. I mean, the whole thing is just so nonsensical. It's like, what? Or there's no way to turn that into something that's like coherent. But this could have been something good. Like it could have been. If the acting was good, if the writing was good, everything about this movie would need to change. But the premise could work. Like this could have been a good movie. Like it could have been, but it just wasn't. Like it just fell down on its face and then like fell down further through the floor. Like it was
Yeah.
yeah.
Like and like when I say like this like you could I'm serious when I say this is a masterclass in failure. Like I literally think you could like teach film students like just about how not to completely screw up your film and just like just watch this movie. Don't do that. Don't do any of this. Cuz I mean, yeah, god, it's ooh boy.
But okay. Yeah, I guess final thoughts. If you want to watch just a movie, see how bad a movie could be, right? If you just want to see like, yeah, if you want to see just like a failure on every front, then watch this movie. We both enjoyed it. Like I've been crapping on this movie a lot, but we both of us liked it. I like almost don't want to say those words. Like, I feel bad saying them. But it's true. It's true. I did. Like there was never a moment. I've watched some movies where I just want to turn them off. Like I can't even finish them. And this wasn't that. Like I watched the whole thing. I was like I was engaged, in the movie the whole time. So some props there, I guess.
No, this I would definitely say give it a watch. I mean, I'd say it gets near, for me at least, like almost to The Room, and like the just like so strange and so bad that it's good. Like there's like quotable lines in this movie. Like there's lines that I learned from this movie that I'm just gonna use for the rest of my life. Like seeing John Travolta like hold a rat up to you its face and go like, "Do you want lunch?" It's unforgettable.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe I was overly harsh. It bothered me that I could see the potential in this one.
Okay.
Like, I guess that bothered me. But maybe I shouldn't. That was my problem, was expecting too much. I should have gone into this thinking like, that was on me maybe. So I guess going for this movie with the right attitude, and just know what you're getting. And like I knew this movie was considered bad, but I didn't think it would be so comical, which maybe is his saving grace.
I thought it'd be bad. I didn't know it'd be this bad.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we can end it there. Unless you have anything else to add.
No, nothing much. I guess I just want to say, for me and a lot of people, this might be the closest you'll get to a Scientology experience.
Yeah, luckily we're not big enough to be sued. I don't know. Is this like we haven't talked a lot about the religion, and I don't plan to. You know,
Yeah,
this
I
is
mean, to
strictly
be
about
fair,
the movie.
the
Strictly
movie
about
seems
the movie.
pretty divorced from the religion. Like, if you just watched this and didn't know anything about its background, like, I don't think you'd come away like thinking like, Scientology. Like, the movie's pretty divorced actually from.
Yeah. There's not any overt references. If there is some kind of like subtle references in there, they're lost on me, and I'm sure they'd be lost on most. So yeah, that's just another bad movie among a litany of bad movies. But okay, hope you enjoyed that. This has been Amateur Theory.
See you later, fellas.